Let's start off by opening up the Photoshop app and making sure that we paid for it, and then dismissing the message and creating a new document. You can decide whatever size you want, and then we're gonna bring up the text tool by either clicking T on the keyboard or on the left side and writing something and deciding the text font. And I'm just gonna go for Cooper Black because it's cool. And then I'm gonna create a solid color to have as a background for a text. You don't need to do this, but I think it just looks nice and easier to see our text. And then we're gonna right click on the text, go to blending options, and on the left side you'll see all the effects we have and can apply to our text. As you can see, I already created a lot of drop shadows with this effect, but we are going to delete all them and start over again so you can follow along, obviously. When you first open up the blending options on the left side, you either already have a drop shadow, but if you don't, click on the FX button and select drop shadow. After you selected and activated the drop shadow, go to the blend mode and select normal instead of multiply. Then we're gonna change the opacity to 100% and mess around with the angle. You can have whatever you want depending on what style you're going for, but we're going to make it easy and go for 90 degrees. Distance is also something you can play around, and yeah, you can come back to this later, but make sure that the spread and size is at 0. But I think I'll pick my distance at around 20 to begin with. Then change the color. I already decided what colors I want to go for, so I'm just gonna copy paste, but you can make your own colors or copy mine. Then click on the plus icon next to drop shadow, create a new one, change the color and the distance. Distance, you can either double your previous distance or, again, as I said, play around. Create another drop shadow, change the color again and increase the distance a little bit. And we're gonna repeat this process a couple more times. Click on the plus icon next to the drop shadow, change the color, increase the distance. You probably already getting the hang of this. If you want, you can copy my colors or go on the internet and search for color palettes. There's plenty of nice websites that can give you multiple color palettes depending on the style you want, or, you know, design, whatever you feel like, I guess. So I'm gonna create one more drop shadow, again change the color. I'm gonna go for this, I don't know, I call this for the ice cream vibe. I don't know why, it gives me ice cream vibes. And yeah, again increase the distance, change the color. It's sometimes a little bit difficult to use the sliders, so I like precise numbers because I have OCD. No, I don't, but I like them nice and round. So we're gonna type them in instead. Again, create another drop shadow, change the color and increase the distance. And I did this for 6 times. You don't need to do that. Play around, have fun, but the trick is to use multiple drop shadows, increase the distances and change the colors. Yes. And you can go back to the first drop shadow or any drop shadows, to be honest, and play around with the angle. Do you want it to go from the middle down to the right side or maybe opposite? Whatever you want. There's plenty of options. If you want to change the color of the main text that you wrote, you don't do that in the drop shadows. You do that by selecting the text node and changing the color like I have here in the right side. You can also right click on the text and go to color overlay and change it there. Or third option is to select your text tool again, highlight the text, and on the top you'll see a color that you can change. So there are plenty of ways to change the color. You see here I use the text tool, and on the top you have the color that you can change. I'm just playing around trying to find out what color matches my background, but you don't need to do that. You don't even need a background as long as you have the text. You can have transparent background, so you can export it later and use it in your videos or as a overlay for something else. But yeah, I thought it was a really cool effect. Here at the end I'm just playing around with the blending options. Maybe you can have a stroke and maybe a glow or something else. You know, only your imagination is your limit, so play around, have fun, and as you can see, once you've applied these effects, you can change your text to anything and write whatever you want. So yeah, have a nice day. Thank you so much for watching, and leave a comment if you have any questions. I would answer them. Yeah, and if you have any other requests for future tutorials, I would read them and maybe make them. Can't promise anything, but yeah. Have a nice day. See you next one. Bye!